You know, some songs aren't just catchy. They're actually entire stories packed into a few minutes. Stories about conflict, about anger, and finally, about freedom. Today, we're going to deconstruct one of those from Benson Boone's song, Cry. It's a whole journey from suppression to this big, powerful release. And it kicks off right in the thick of the tension.
So the story just throws us right in. Boom, no gentle lead-in. We immediately meet a narrator who's hiding something, putting on a brave face while this emotional storm is just brewing underneath. This one line paints a picture we can probably all recognize, that really loud quiet that happens right before everything breaks.
So this first part, it's all about that internal pressure cooker, right? It's that feeling of living with a conflict that nobody's talking about, where the silence actually feels way louder than any argument. Let's see how the lyrics really get into the physical part of this strain. Oh, you can just feel this, can't you? It's that physical feeling of holding it all in. This isn't just some idea. It's an emotion so strong, it's about to literally spill out. You can almost feel the fight to keep your cool when your body is just screaming to let go. And this word is so important. The narrator is making it super clear this isn't just, sadness or frustration. It's rage, a really powerful, all-consuming anger that they're trying so desperately to keep a lid on. This one word changes everything. It reframes the whole struggle as something way more intense.
Okay, so that kind of rage just can't be held back forever. And this is where it all comes out. The internal struggle finally erupts. The silence is broken, and we get this direct, unfiltered confrontation because, the narrator is just done playing along.
And boom, there it is. The first major accusation. It is sharp and it is specific. The narrator is calling out what they see as this pattern of just deflecting responsibility, basically questioning if the other person is using their own struggles as a get-out-of-jail-free card. And this just lays bare the massive gap between two people's realities. I mean, on one side, you've got the story the other person is telling themselves, that they're just a misfit or misunderstood. But then you have the narrator's reality, which is like, nope, this isn't a misunderstanding. This is straight-up narcissism. The whole conflict lives right in that canyon between these two viewpoints. So when you see it all laid out, you realize this isn't about just one thing. It's the combined weight of all these issues that's been building and building. It's a total breakdown of trust, and it's all fueled by that frustrating feeling of being judged by someone who, from the narrator's point of view, doesn't even know who they are themselves. And what's really pushing this whole confrontation? It's not just anger. It's a deep, deep exhaustion. The narrator has just hit a wall. They're tired of being emotionally drained by this whole thing. And this fight is really just them trying to take their own energy back. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. Just when you think the narrator is totally locked into their anger, the story takes this sharp, unexpected turn. Right in the middle of all this righteous fury, a little bit of doubt starts to creep in. And that's what makes this whole thing feel so real. This question just kind of hangs there in the air. It creates this incredible pause in the action. After all that certainty, all the finger-pointing, the narrator just stops and wonders about their own role in it all. It's a super relatable moment. That sinking feeling of, wait, what if it's me? And here, they actually go there. They fully entertain the idea that maybe they're the villain in this story. What if the other person's version of reality is the right one? This little flash of empathy, this willingness to even consider the other side for a second, is what makes the struggle feel so incredibly human. This thought shows a real desire to be fair, a genuine attempt to step outside of their own rage and see the whole picture. But notice how it's described. It's a fleeting thought. This is a crossroads in the story, and ultimately, this is not the path our narrator is going to take. All right, so after that flicker of doubt, you might think the narrator would back down, but nope. Instead, they find a completely different kind of ending, one that moves past the anger and the doubt and into this final, powerful act of just letting go. Now, this line, "Go ahead and cry," it could totally sound like a taunt, right? But in the context of the story, it's something else. It's the narrator releasing their grip. They're not holding on to the rage anymore, and they're also not taking responsibility for the other person's feelings anymore. It's more like permission than a provocation. And right here is the boundary being drawn. Crystal clear. The narrator isn't wishing them harm, but they are absolutely stepping out of the line of fire. It's like they're saying, your destructive behavior isn't my problem anymore. I'm taking myself out of this equation to protect myself.
And this brings us to the real motivation, the why behind it all. After all the rage, the accusations, the self-doubt, what's the end goal? It isn't getting revenge or winning the argument. It's peace. Just the simple, desperate, and deeply human need to be able to rest, to be free from all the chaos this relationship has caused. That's the real win here.
So when you look at the whole journey, it really boils down to this clear 3-step path to getting your freedom back. First, you have to recognize the emotional cost and just decide to stop paying it. Second, you release the other person and your sense of responsibility for them. And then finally, you get to reclaim your own inner peace. It's a pretty powerful roadmap for self-liberation.
So in the end, the whole story leaves us with this one final, really thought-provoking question. It reframes walking away, not as an act of giving up, but as a courageous choice. And it takes this personal story about a toxic relationship and turns it into a universal question about what it really means to be strong for yourself.